this is not new. I mean, Republicans have been using voter suppression tactics for as long as I can remember. I mean, you don't have to go back too far in Pennsylvania about Mike Terzai's statement after the state legislature approved the new voter ID law, right? He was caught on tape bragging that the new law would win Pennsylvania for Mitt Romney. And of course, we never found out whether that was accurate because the court threw the law out before the election. But these are the kind of tactics that Republicans have been employing across the country for years. Trump continues to lie with these allegations of voter fraud, and he's given motivation to the states and local localities to ramp up their voter suppression efforts. And it's a real problem. It's something we're going to obviously have to confront. This new voting restriction law in Texas is reported to be denying half of the vote by mail applications in certain counties. Texas already had one of the most restricted vote by mail programs in the country, but now only voters who are out of town, over 65 or disabled, are going to be allowed to use the mail-in ballot. In Iowa, for example, county election officials can now face $10,000 fines for honest mistakes or just minor technical infractions. And then there's Georgia, where a Republican-controlled state legislature enacted a bill that restricted ballot access statewide and allowed the Republican-controlled state election board to assume control of county boards if they deem it underperforming. So, needless to say, they have wasted no time in replacing Black Democratic members on a number of county election boards, including Fulton County, which includes part of the Atlanta metro area. So Republicans aren't only trying to suppress the vote, they're also working hard to secure control over the election administration in Georgia and other battleground states across the country. Historically, bipartisan or nonpartisan boards boards that used to be nonpartisan are slowly being replaced by GOP-controlled ones in areas where they're able to do it. And this gives them control over decisions about polling locations, early voting procedures, as well as certification of results, including whether to count provisional ballots or which ones to count, along with decisions about recounts and audits. And some Republicans, like those in Wisconsin, are seeking to eliminate their state's bipartisan election commissions and establish criminal penalties for election administrators, not to mention the fact that they're threatening 2020 election officials with prosecution in Wisconsin. Republican backers of Trump's false stolen election claims are running campaigns for Secretary of State in a dozen states, many of which, such as Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Nevada, are historically battleground states. And this would give them substantial control over election administration, voter registration, and by extension, voter suppression in many of the states that are likely to decide the 2024 presidential election, not to mention a number of critical 2022 races. All told, last year, according to the nonpartisan Brennan Center, more than 440 bills with provisions that restrict voting access have been introduced in 49 states in the 2021 legislative sessions. And at least 19 states passed 34 laws restricting access to voting. Finally, I think it's important to note that Republicans are now able to make these kinds of radical changes because of a conservative majority on the US Supreme Court has successfully dismantled aspects of the Voting Rights Act that would have, before 2013, guaranteed fair participation by Black voters and ensure federal oversight and enforcement of the Voting Rights Act. Conservatives are working feverishly at all levels of government in all three branches of government to tilt the electoral playing field in their favor. What they're doing is nothing short of outrageous. No one should have to stand in line for hours to vote. No one should have to travel miles to reach a new polling location after one was closed, and no one should be restricted from receiving mail-in ballots after it has been proven that they're a safe way to vote.